I think
Yesterday? Was it yesterday? No, that's next Monday. Yeah.
he was all excited. He said, "Mom, my kids are coming to
Make it.
grandson."
Forget what got scheduled. Something that I got.
Oh. No, I mean, they're in Vermont.
On too. Haven't yet.
Good morning.
Actually, so.
Good morning.
Morning. Yeah.
They're alive.
Good morning. I would like to welcome everybody to the Board of Directors meeting for the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency. We're at the BWB Building, 201 West 3rd Street, Jamestown, New York. We're also streaming live via YouTube and Zoom. So we'll go ahead and do a roll call attendance. Gary Henry's here. Dan Hetzenrader.
Here.
Sagan Sheffield Smith.
Here.
Dan DeMart.
Here.
Ted Whitman.
Here.
Tom Harmon.
Here.
You should have already received the June 24th minutes and had a chance to review those. Do we have a motion to accept those minutes?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes have been approved.
Hey, Gary, can
Yes.
I point out something in the minutes? I think it's a typo.
Okay,
On page 14, it says that Greg Peterson was involved in a brief discussion regarding the tarp skunks.
yes,
I don't
that'd be a
think there's a
typo.
person on the planet who's ever had a brief discussion with Greg about any topic on baseball.
It's not brief.
Maybe it's not worth correcting, but I just point out that that's that may be a stretch.
It's noted. It's
Thank
noted.
you.
We'll move into new business A, Chautauqua CSG1 LLC, presented by Rosie and Millen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chautauqua CHG1 LLC is a 2.25 megawatt AC solar farm on approximately 14 acres located in the town of Poland at 1437 West New York 394 and West 394 Rear in Faulkner, New York, with a total project cost of over $3.6 million. I do have Ty Basile with New Energy Equity and Henry Sommerfield from House on the line. Before I pass it on to them, I will give you some details about the project. I did speak with the town supervisor, Ms. Kelly Snow, and the town is in favor of this particular solar project. Chautauqua CSG1 LLC is requesting a 25-year pilot, which is a deviation from our standard UTEP. They are requesting sales tax exemption, total of $143,453. Property tax abatement savings totaling $23,904. And pilot payments totaling $206,290 with no mortgage reporting tax being requested. Before I pass it on to Ty and Henry, is there any questions as it relates to the pilot?
I had one question. When I was looking at that Excel spreadsheet that was attached, at some point it looked like, if I was reading it correctly, like it's actually not a benefit, the pilot.
Shelby, maybe it'll be better as you explain it.
So the projections as far as the property tax go utilize like a kind of like a depreciation method.
Okay.
So it applies depreciation to the asset. So, when it comes to, and I didn't look at this exact schedule, but I think it's typically like year 7 or like year 10 that it kind of flip flops. At that point, if that's still the case, if they haven't done any capital improvements on the asset, then they could revisit and say that they wanted to forfeit the pilot at that point.
Okay.
Gary, it's also unclear what the state is going to do, and there's some legal issues surrounding how the state is going to either require or recommend these projects be taxed. So it really is unclear what the future taxes are going to be. I would also just point out that at any time, the applicant can terminate early with the IDA. So if it does turn out that it's negative and they're willing to take the uncertainty of going back on the tax rolls, they could in 7 or 10 or whatever it is years say thanks but no thanks. We'll take our chances with the taxing jurisdictions. So that's true of all of your projects, but you're right. This is one where, at least from where we sit today, it looks as if that may be something that they should think about. But we'll leave that to Henry to tell us.
Okay.
Thank you.
Am I on?
Yep, Henry, please go ahead. Yep.
No, that I wasn't sure if that was my invitation or not. Thanks so much for having us this morning, Henry Sommerfeld from Hodgson Russ, and everything in that discourse is exactly correct. You know, the state created this model. I'm sure you're all familiar with it for other solar projects. It's sort of rubber banded, if you will, and have gone back and forth through a number of iterations of litigation. There's currently an appeal. All of this, I think, highlights that, as the word was used, there is some uncertainty into the future. And I think that in and of itself is the benefit, besides the actual numbers, besides the financial piece. The benefit is that they will have certainty for the duration and the term of the pilot, because we don't know what's going to happen, even if the model is ruled in the appeal on the merits and it's going to be upheld, or if I understand there's been some legislation passed awaiting the governor's signature that's going to resolve this. And look, we could be going through this every couple of years, you know, that thank God for lawyers, right? They're always in there messing stuff up, or at least delaying the inevitable, I suppose. But the bottom line is that model tells us how the project will be assessed, and the assessors at the local level will use it, or to use it, at least based on the latest. But bottom line for us, this certainty through the pilot is what the real benefit is, money and dollars aside. So unless there are specific questions on the joyful methodology of assessing solar and renewable projects in New York, I'm going to turn it over to Ty to round out and talk more about the project in depth, and chime in as I'm needed.
Hi, could you also touch on any vegetation and screening and the decommissioning bond for the town of Poland?
Yeah, be happy to do that. Okay, so thank you for having us today. My name is Ty Basili. I am New Energy Equity's Director of Development. I'm based in Horse Heads, New York, just a couple hours east, where we have a satellite office. This project is under Chautauqua CSG1 LLC. That's a wholly owned subsidiary of New Energy Equity. If you're not familiar with us, we're a full service development and operations and maintenance company that specializes in community solar type projects like this, based out of Annapolis, Maryland. We've been around for about 12 years. We've come through the IDA once before with our Martin CSG project in the town of Ripley. That was later sold to Nexamp. So you may be familiar with that project. On this project, it's approximately 2.2 megawatt AC project, so on the smaller size. We're working with the Eckert family in the town of Poland. They had two parcels that the grandparents and the son owned together, and they had about 17 acres of agricultural land on that parcel. And we were able to use, pretty much all that available acres once we considered the setbacks and the requests from the town and the neighbors. The project is through the utility National Grid. Now, this project is grid ready. We're not held up by any long-term investments or delays. I know there's been a lot of topic of a conversation with National Grid over the years, but we're looking to be in good shape with them. They can connect us as early as the fall of next year, and we are gearing up to satisfy our special use permit conditions. And we're in the final stages of hiring a construction contractor for the EPC, talking to two New York-based contractors for that. And we're gearing up to match their construction schedule without any doubt that we want to have this project constructed and ready to go through permission to operate with National Grid by the end of next year, to align with any changes in federal tax law. So a little bit about the vegetation and screening. Like I said, it's about a 17-acre farm field that we're using. We're surrounded by some trees and things of that nature to the south, and to the west, and to the east, and to the north. There's property lines that we're set back off of, and we have quite a dense and detailed screening plan that we worked with the town of Poland and their engineering group, Wendell Engineering, to come up with a vegetative screening plan. And within that screening plan, it also ties into our conditions of our special use permit. So basically, the permit says that if the screening plan does not actually show the way our rendering showed, we're required to go back to the planning board a year after operation and make any amendments necessary, and it's a contractual obligation with them. So that's just a little bit about that screening plan. Our vegetation plan, and nothing special here. Going to use approved DEC seed mix that builds in a little bit of the pollinators and the perennials on site. We're going to use standard vegetation maintenance, mowing and things like that. We're in a village with residential neighbors in the area, so putting sheep on it and things like that didn't make a lot of sense on this one. So I'd say overall, pretty typical stuff you would see on a solar project. I think the only thing that may be different is we did work with one of the neighbors near our point of interconnection, and we came to an agreement with them for some additional screening that they're going to install on their property to further provide screening and satisfy the concerns that were brought up during the public hearing for that. So I think that's just a real quick summary. I'm sure I could have missed something. I'm happy to answer any questions, and we appreciate your time today.
Can you confirm if there's a decommissioning bond in place or in the works?
It's in the works. We have an agreed upon decommissioning value and formula. We handled during the special use permit process. Again, that was all handled through Wendell Engineering on behalf of the town. And then we have a form of decommissioning agreement that is agreed upon between us and them. And we're going to be drafting that and presenting it to the town to satisfy the condition of the special use permit, that gets signed and satisfied before they issue the building permit.
Thank you. Is there any questions for Ty or Henry before I pass it on to Millen? Okay, Millen, if you wouldn't mind going over the resolution being presented to the board today.
Happy to. This is your standard due diligence resolution that, if passed, will authorize and instruct staff and council to start doing the due diligence. That would include a seeker review. That would include holding the public hearing, scheduling the deviation notice, and looking into the legal structure of the applicant, crown lease with the landowner, etc. Then when and if all of that checks out and it's tied up in a nice little bow, we would come back to the IDA for final approval, either at your next meeting or possibly in September, depending on how things go.
Thank you, Millen.
Any other questions from the board? Before we move into a vote, I'd just like to mention that Sagan is here. Did I skip you when I did the roll call?
Amy.
Amy, okay.
This here.
And Kevin is here. So, I'll get it right here at some point. So they'll be included in the vote. Dan Hetzenrader, can you go ahead and move new business A1 for us?
Yes, and appreciate the thorough coverage of the usual questions. So I'll move resolution 07-22-24-01, due diligence resolution and preliminary agreement for Chautauqua DSG1 LLC.
Thank you. And do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Sagan. Gary Henry votes aye. Dan Hetzenrader,
Aye.
Sagan Sheffield Smith,
Aye.
Dan Demart,
Aye.
Ted Whitman,
Aye.
Tom Harmon,
Aye.
Amy Harding,
Aye.
Kevin Muldowney.
Aye.
So the resolution is unanimously approved.
Thank you, Ty and Henry. You are welcome to stay on, but if you have to leave, we understand. I will be in touch with next steps.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. And board, I just want to thank Rosie. Her communication is outstanding and she's a great representation of your organization. So I just appreciate her hard work.
Thanks, Sol.
you.
I echo those sentiments. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Henry. I'll be in touch.
Very well. Thanks.
I know Mark is off today. Did we have anything for an executive director's report?
Nope.
Okay, we'll move right into the treasurer's report.
Okay. So similar to the last month's update, not really much happening as far as, anything outside of the norm for the financials. We're still in a pretty good cash position. No concerns over the budget variance. I think that most of it can be boiled down to timing. And again, the same kind of salary allocation where we're kind of looking at a different methodology for that. But outside of that, there's really not much to discuss. Like I said, a lot of it is just timing and collecting on application fees based on when projects close.
Thank you. Do we need to go into executive session today? Do you have things we need to discuss?
You want to talk loans?
I have them. If you want me to go over them, I don't have much to report.
Let's go ahead and do that.
Okay. At this point, I would entertain a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing the financial or credit history of a particular person or corporation. In particular, I would like to discuss the status of our loan portfolio, the financial and credit status of some of our borrowers. Do I hear such a motion?
So moved.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we'll go into executive session.
So for the loan report. Second, Kayla.
We are back in open session and I would like to report that there were no actions or votes taken during the executive session and therefore no minutes of the meeting were taken. We're not going to have an official critic meeting today, but we will do a quick review of the treasurer's report as long as we're here. Do that?
So for the critic, statement of revenue and expenses, or their P and L, for critic, I just wanted to point out that the revenue is really the only loan, excuse me, the only revenue we have in critic is the loan payments. And it's never been uncommon for us to go a few years where we're a little bit underwater, as far as revenue versus expenses. But we do put minimal expenses through critic for that very reason. So I just wanted to point out, since it is in the red, this isn't uncommon. Since its inception, it's been this way. For CPEG, we just, Nate just keeps getting more and more grant funding for this project and that project. And mainly the two big ones this year have been the Paint CHQ murals and the Overland Trail funding and all that. So he keeps getting more grants and we keep dispersing those for the projects, so on and so forth. So he's we're doing great for as far as CPEG revenue versus expense. We've got quite a bit of deferred revenue yet to use for the rest of the year as well. Most of it's already earmarked, and then the Ralph Wilson and ARPA both have a grant revenue that has specific expenses coming in and going out. So, and they both have, deferred revenue as well, saved up for the remainder of the year. So those are good standing. On the balance sheet, we have good cash flow and deferred revenue balances as far as mid-year goes. So nothing really new to report for the balance sheet, nothing outstanding. And for the budget, we are, as far as the, like Shelby likes to reference, the peanut butter spread of the year. We are currently under budget for, as far as the end of June for the revenue, but again, Nate keeps getting more grant revenue coming in, and that'll be incoming in the remainder of the year. And we're also under budget as far as the expenses go for mid-year. So
Yeah, you'll see, sorry to interrupt you. You'll see that the deferred revenue section kind of offsets in the grant contractual expenses. So it's basically timing of recognizing expenses.
we're in good standing.
Thank you. As long as we're talking about critic, take a minute just to pass the previous minutes. Those were sent out with our board meeting packet, so you should have had a chance to review those. You have a motion to accept the critic minutes?
Make the motion.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, those previous minutes were approved. Any old business to come before the board? Hearing none, we'll consider the meeting adjourned and just remind everybody that the next IDA meeting will be August the 26th. We'll be meeting here again at the BWB Building and streaming live. Thank you.
Thank you all. I hope to see you next month in person.
Thanks, Bill.
But you know what? I'm told there's no lunch